Did you know the deadliest maritime disaster in history killed more than 9,000 people and almost nobody knows it happened? January 30th, 1945. A Soviet submarine fired 3 torpedoes into a German ocean liner called the Wilhelm Gustloff. The ship was packed with refugees, wounded soldiers, and children fleeing the Red Army through the frozen Baltic Sea. 9,300 people died, 7 times more than the Titanic. But the world went quiet. The victims were German. The killer was an allied nation. The story had no comfortable place to land, so it disappeared.
Did you know the CIA once paid a doctor to erase people's minds without their knowledge? His name was Dr. Ewan Cameron. He ran the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal. He was one of the most respected psychiatrists in the world. But inside that hospital, patients were kept asleep for months. Electroshock was used at levels far beyond anything considered safe. The same recorded messages played on loop for weeks. People checked in for mild depression. They left unable to recognize their own children. Their families were told they were getting advanced care. The CIA later destroyed the files.
3 men vanished from a moving boat in open ocean. No struggle, no signal, no bodies, ever. On April 20th, 2007, the KAZ 2 was found drifting off Queensland, Australia. Engine running, sails set, a meal still warm on the table. Life jackets untouched. 3 experienced sailors were simply gone. Nothing was broken. Nothing was missing. The boat was in perfect working order. Investigators had no answer then. They still have no answer now. Whatever made those men leave a perfectly good vessel in the middle of the ocean, it didn't give them time to think.
Did you know a man once described his own assassination to doctors while they stood there unable to help him? In 1978, Georgy Markov was walking across Waterloo Bridge in London during the evening rush hour when a stranger jabbed him in the leg with an umbrella. It seemed like nothing. 4 days later, Markov was dying, and he knew why. He told doctors he believed the Bulgarian secret police had poisoned him. He named the method. He described everything. The doctors believed him, but they had never seen anything like it. When they finally found the weapon at autopsy, it was smaller than a pinhead. A platinum pellet packed with ricin, fired from a modified umbrella. There was no treatment, no antidote, no framework for what had just been done. The most chilling part is not the weapon. It is that a man watched himself die, explained it in perfect detail, and the world still could not save him. Did you know a dictator once kidnapped 2 filmmakers just because he thought his country's movies weren't good enough? In 1978, Kim Jong-il had South Korean actress Choi Yoon-hee lured to Hong Kong and grabbed off the street. Months later, her ex-husband, director Shin Sang-ok, was taken too. For 8 years, Kim hosted them at state dinners, gave script notes, and screened foreign films like they were colleagues. He wanted better movies, so he stole the people who could make them. Then in 1986, at a press event in Vienna, their guards looked away for one moment. The couple slipped into a taxi and drove straight to the American embassy. 8 years, ended in a cab ride.
The journal was dated 1961. She was born in 1994, but the handwriting was hers. Every loop, every slant, every little curl on the letter G. She told herself it was a coincidence. Then she read the entries. Her first job, her dog's name, the argument she had last Tuesday. All of it, already written, already done. She flipped to the last page. One line. She finds this today. Today's date. Written 60 years ago. Your whole life, someone already watched it happen. They just never told you.
Did you know a company once watched its workers' jaws rot off and kept the factory running anyway? In the 1920s, young women were hired to paint glowing watch dials with radium paint. Their supervisors told them to sharpen their brushes with their lips. Some women did it hundreds of times a day. The company's own chemists already knew radium was lethal. It seeps into bone and radiates from the inside out. Workers' teeth fell out. Their jaws crumbled. Some of them glowed faintly in the dark. When the women got sick, the company told them they had syphilis. Doctors were paid to sign off on false reports. Lawyers were hired to drag out lawsuits until the women were too weak to appear in court. Some died before they ever saw a courtroom. The ones who survived long enough to testify won a landmark settlement that became the foundation of modern worker safety law. But the company knew from the beginning. They just bet the women would die before anyone could prove it. Did you know the first bioterror attack in U.S. history was carried out to win a local election? In 1984, followers of a cult leader named Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh walked into 10 Oregon restaurants and quietly poured salmonella bacteria onto salad bars. 751 people got sick. Some were hospitalized. The goal was simple: sicken enough voters to swing a county commissioner race in their favor. The FBI didn't believe it was intentional for over a year. The motive seemed too small, too absurd. Nobody does this over a local election, but they did.
Did you know a man once put his head inside a running particle accelerator and lived to tell about it? In 1978, Soviet physicist Anatoly Bugorsky was checking faulty equipment at a research facility in Russia when he leaned into the beam path of the U-70 synchrotron. The proton beam traveled faster than his nerves could signal pain. He felt nothing. He saw a flash brighter than 1,000 suns, and that was it. The beam entered through the back of his skull and exited through his nose. The left side of his face swelled, then slowly froze, paralyzed. No movement, no expression, ever again. The right side stayed completely normal. For the rest of his life, his face told two different stories at once. The Soviet government immediately classified everything. No public reports, no warnings, just doctors watching him quietly, taking notes, waiting to see how long he would last. He outlived their expectations by decades. Half a smile, half a frozen mask. One man carrying the only record of what a particle beam does to a living human brain, and the government made sure no one could read it. Did you know Sweden's most infamous serial killer never actually killed anyone? Thomas Quick confessed to over 30 murders across Europe throughout the 1990s. Investigators believed him. Psychiatrists wrote books about him. Prosecutors built entire careers on his cases. Every single confession was a lie. Quick was a patient at a psychiatric facility, addicted to the sedatives his therapist gave him during sessions. So he kept confessing, and they kept believing because they needed him to be real. The actual killers were never found. The real victims never got justice. The monster was the system.